Welcome to this lesson on how to solo over How High the Moon. We're just going to work with bars 1 to 4, which might sound crazy, but in my opinion it's much better to get used to playing over small sections of songs to begin with. And everything I'm going to show you today is about hearing what you're doing, but it's also about outlining the chord changes. So if someone took away the backing, you'd be able to tell what progression you're playing over or even what standard you're playing over. So we're simply going to work with this section. So G major 7, 2 bars, G minor 7, C7, landing on an F. And it's about playing those changes, playing in those chords, creating the sound of those chords without any backing. Starting with the real essentials first, do you know the notes in those chords? Can you find them on the neck? Can you hear them as well? So that progression is going G major 7, which is root 3rd, 5th, major 7th, and that's G, B, D, F sharp. Then it's going G minor 7, which is G, B flat, D, F, and then C7, C, E, G, B flat. And that's all in order, 1, 3, 5, 7. So let's just hear that to the changes first. Whilst we need to be able to do this, that can become a problem, because then all you can do when you see a G major 7 is that, and that's all you can hear. So it's important to be able to hear the different start points within 1, 3, 5 and 7. So here's the root against each chord. Here's your 3rd. And the 7th. So that's just playing the individual chord tones against the chords, and you want to be able to hear that. You know, if you put a G major 7 chord down, you want to be able to hear the root 3rd and 5th and 7th as a starting point for a phrase. Work on training your ear, be able to hear each note against each chord. So like, you know, take steps to developing your ear. You know, that could be just singing the roots against each chord, or just sing your arpeggios as you play them, like go, or you can hum whatever you're more comfortable with. Work towards being able to actually pre-hear that, so you might put your G down, then hear the B in your head, hear the D, so then you're actually checking whether you're actually hearing it and not just playing the note and then quickly singing it and sort of cheating. And then a very simple thing you can do to get more from your chord tones is vary the order of the notes in which you play them. So let's try that. So instead of 1, 3, 5, 7, let's try 3, 5, 1, 7. That's a good thing to practice. It's a good thing to open up your ear to hearing different things with these chord tones, but it sounds like very kind of, it doesn't sound very natural, because it is like the same thing moving on each chord almost, and you're making big jumps intervallantly between each line. So let's use that idea, but this time one of the nice things to do when playing to chord tones is go to the nearest note of the next chord. And when you're playing one chord into another, so one arpeggio into another, you've got the 3 options. You can stay on a common note, so say G minor 7 to C7, they both share the notes G and B flat, so if you're on a G minor 7 chord, you could stay on the G as you go into the C7 or the B flat. You could go to the nearest note beneath, say if you were on an F on a G minor 7, you can go down a semitone to E, or you can go to the nearest note above, so let's say again we're on an F on a G minor 7, the nearest note in a C7 chord is a G. So think about that when you're practicing. I don't think about it like that academically when I'm soloing. I can hear those things, and that's through practicing your arpeggios in this kind of way. Let's pick another variation to our arpeggio. Let's do 5, 3, 1, 7 to each chord and see what that sounds like. What you do by using your arpeggio in that way is you do get like a theme that kind of develops, so you do get some sort of links between your lines, which can be quite nice to sort of make it more of a story, if you like, rather than new ideas all the time. Let's build on that previous idea, but go to the nearest note of the next chord. Many great solos boil down to just triads or arpeggios, but quite often than not you'll notice other notes obviously being used for colour. Now we could add outside notes, chromaticism and things like that, but I think it's better to play inside before you work with outside sounds. And let's just add the ninth. So, you know, to our G major 7 we can add an A. We can add that to our G minor 7 as well, so same ninth. And the C7 has a D. So we've just got a little bit more colour and interest there. So it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. In the same token, the 6 is a nice thing to add, and you could add these either just to the triad, so you could add like G, B, D, E, or you can keep the 7th as well. So G, B, D, E, F sharp. For the minor chord that would be G, B flat, D, E, F, and for the C7 it would be C, E, G, A, the 6, then B flat, R, flat 7. Finally, let's have an example with the 6th and the 9th in. What I was looking to show you in today's video is how you can approach thinking about chord tones. Some of it will be, you know, you have to understand the theory behind it first, but it always wants to move into the realm of hearing it and making it musical. You know, in some examples I played with where the rhythm, there's your triplet or starting on the and, not starting on the predictable 1. So there's obviously many different layers to this, and all of you watching will be at different points within your journey at understanding and what you know on the fretboard and how well developed your ear is. So some of the different exercises might be more important to you. You might want to start at point 1 where you just, you know, you want to be able to play the root, you want to be able to play the 3rd, the 5th, or you might be at that point where you want to bring in things like the 9th and the 6th or other sounds to make things a bit more interesting, or you just want to move away from sort of just playing everything in order and sort of getting to grips with how you're going to practice that and work with it. And ultimately one thing we'll sure be doing is listening to how the greats have soloed over these chord changes. So, you know, just listen to that first start and hear what they do. If you took away the backing, could you hear the chords? Now, I think for a lot of beginners, the idea of not having a backing track is quite confronting. It's kind of like, whoa, I need that. That's what's kind of helping me hear everything and things like that. Actually, you know, just you could work with a looper like I had today, just loop that first section and play with it like that. You don't even need to play in time. When I'm practicing new jazz standards, I work up to playing in time, get used to, like I said, the changes and playing those changes, playing over those changes and sounding those chords and how you got to play into those changes and out of them. It's, you know, it takes time to build up that fluency over a standard. So, you know, don't give yourself a hard time if these songs take a long time to get, you know, for you to feel competent at soloing over them. I'll put 2 videos on the screen that might help with some of the ideas covered in today's lesson. The Barry Harris arpeggio pivot and also, you know, the 24 ways with one arpeggio. Don't forget I release videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so be sure to check out my next video. Until then, you take care.